Hi, welcome to the last video of the tutorial series. In this chapter, I will cover the basics of lightings. So here I have a room which is made in Priya. It has openings on one side of the walls, as you see. Okay, so now I'm going to put in a camera inside the building or room so that I can have an interior view. So go to create panel, click on camera icon and select target. I'm going to place my camera somewhere in the corner looking at the window. Alright, now I'm going to change my perspective view to camera by pressing C on the keyboard as a shortcut key. So by default, camera will be lead on the 0 level of Z-axis, so I'm gonna have to push it up a bit. And yeah, I'm going to use my elevation view to pull it up, and somehow the room looks a bit cramped, so I'm going to have to zoom out a bit. Select on the camera source, go to modify tab, and let's try on 28 first. Oh, it's actually getting in. 24, maybe 20. Yeah, looks better. Okay, now I'm going to give it a first render. But first, I need to make sure that I have activated my Mental Ray render engine and also give it a setting. So I'm going to press F10 and I'm going to check my assign renderer. Okay, I've done that, and I'm going to the indirect illumination tab. So I'm going to enable my Final Gather as usual, and for this tutorial I'm just going to use draft preset, and of course enable my global illumination or GI, and let's give it a render. So I'm not going to render the left elevation, so I'm going to select my camera perspective or camera view and press render. Oh, I forgot that I haven't put in any lighting yet, so that's why this warning comes up. It says there are no photon emitters in the scene. Photon emitters means lighting, so I haven't put in lighting. I can actually avoid this by not enabling the GI just now. So in the future, if you don't want to have this problem, you can just forget about the GI before you put in the lightings. Once you have the lightings in the scene, you can enable your GI. Okay, so I'm just going to press OK. It's not really a problem here. So yeah, so this is the result of the render. As you see, although I haven't put in any lights in the interior, 3D Studio Max helped me to create an artificial lighting to enable me to see what I'm working on. But of course, the lighting quality is very sketchy. It's very cartoony, in other words. So now I'm going to put in a proper light to light up the interior. So let's work on OmniLight first. Okay. So what is OmniLight? OmniLight works like a light bulb, where it spreads the light in all directions, as opposed to Spotlight, which has a focus point. So in order for you to create a light, you need to go to create panel and select the torch icon. Alright, and press light here, and inside the standard rollout, just in case if you're in photometric, make sure you go back to standard light. Okay, we're gonna use Omni, right? So I'm gonna use either Omni or Mental Ray Area Omni. In this case, since I'm using Mental Ray Renderer, I'm gonna use Mental Ray Area Omni. So I'm gonna select this, and I can just establish the lighting in any viewports, but usually we use the top viewport. So I'm just gonna click and right click to get it done as usual, and as usual by default the lighting or whatever you create will be laid on the 0 level of Z-axis. So I'm going to have to pull it up. I'm going to go to move, and from the left elevation viewport I'm going to pull it up somewhere just beneath the ceiling. Make sure you do not place it inside the ceiling, just underneath the ceiling. Okay, So once you have that, I'm gonna go into the modify tab to adjust the setting. And okay, alright, you can forget about this, it's already in Omni type. And in shadows, you have to make sure you use mental ray shadow map. So press this, and you can go to intensity, color, and attenuation menu by pressing this. Multiplier means brightness of the light. Okay, and this box here indicates the color of the light. So right now it's white. Let's make it a bit yellowish. So yeah, press OK. You see it's affecting the scene. It's already a bit yellowish. So you can, at this level, you can forget about other things. So you just need to make sure you turn on your mental ray shadow map, and also if you want to adjust the brightness, go to the multiplier. So now I'm just going to give it a render. You see, now you don't have that problem anymore, the error warning. So it seems that our scene is over bright, so we need to tone down the lighting. Multiplier, so from 1 maybe we tone it down to 0.4 maybe. Press enter. You see it's already affecting the viewport, and render again. Much better. I apologize if you have to wait. So yeah, this is much better. So now it looks much more realistic compared to the previous one, and that's how you work on the light. So let's say if you have several light bulbs in your scene, you can just make a copy of it. See, for now I'm gonna make another copy. I'm just gonna move it somewhere here, and I'm gonna use instance so that it will have even lighting effect. Click OK. Remember now we have 2 Omni lights, so it will tend to get over bright again. Let's see. You see? So since we have 2 lighting in the scene, it tends to get over bright. So I'm gonna have to tone down a bit from 0.4 to 0.2 and try to render again. You see, we have this a trace of the lighting source on the ceiling. This is actually this Omni light here. So now I'm going to show you the spotlight. We're done with Omni light. You can always turn it off by going here in the menu and press this. See, your light, your scene will be dark again. So if I render, it will be very dark. Alright, so let's put in a spotlight now. Okay, so to create a spotlight, we need to use target spot. So go to create panel, go to the torch symbol, and inside standard rollout, choose target spot. And then usually I use site elevations to establish the target spot. In this case I'm going to use this one here, so I'm just going to click and pull. Alright, unlike Omni light where you just click, this one you need to click and pull. Pull down. It doesn't matter whether it reaches the ground or not, as long as you establish the angle of the light. So I'm just going to put it straight down and let go of the mouse. So right click to get it done, and let's go to modify tab, and we don't need to change the light type because it's already in spot, and activate the shadows. Use mental ray shadow map as usual. So you can also elaborate your intensity, color, and attenuation menu by pressing the plus icon here, and by default it should be 1. Alright, and the light is also white. So let's try to work on the default setting first, and I'm going to render this one. Render it. You see, now I have this extremely bright circle spot which is affected by the spotlight. Alright, so how do I adjust this? Let's say if I want to affect only a small portion of the floor. So let's go back to the lighting menu. Alright, select the lighting source, and in modify tab you go to spotlight parameters. Click on this one, and alright, hotspot or beam means the main focal point just now. So maybe I'm going to have to reduce it because I want to reduce the affected area. And maybe, oh, what did I do? I have to adjust that again, make it smaller, and maybe in the fall off I need to make it smaller as well. I accidentally enlarged the area. So fall off means the affected area, where it gradually gets lighter, gets darker. So yeah, I'm gonna render this again. Sorry, there was somebody came into my room, so I was a bit distracted. Anyway, yeah, so this is a hotspot beam, and this is the fall off area. Okay, so let's say we want to have 2 spotlights. I can just select the spotlight here. Alright, or maybe from the elevation viewport. If I it works like a camera, so if I select the camera, the lighting source, it will only affect the lighting. If I select the target, it will only affect the target. But if I select the middle part of the line, it will select both. So yeah, I'm going to use this one for now because I don't want to adjust the angle again. So I'm going to put it somewhere here and put it a bit just underneath the ceiling, and I'm going to make another copy somewhere here. I'm going to use instance so that I can have even effect. Click OK, and let's give it a render again. Oh, remember that we have 2 lighting here, so now I need to go to modify tab and adjust the multiplier. Maybe I'm going to cut half of it, 0.5, enter, and go to camera view, press render. Right, so now you see there's 2 light beams or light hotspot. It's pretty dark right now, so you can supplement your scene by inserting an OmniLight. Alright, so we can just go back to the OmniLight and on it. Right, maybe it's going to be a bit too bright because we have 4 lighting source now. So if I render, yeah, it's a bit too bright, but we can see the effect of the OmniLight together with the spotlight here. So maybe let's say sometimes if you find your scene is a little bit too dark, you can supplement the scene by putting in 1 OmniLight or maybe more. It's up to you. So yeah, this one looks much better. Okay, so now I've covered Omni and target spot. Let's work on the self-illumination. Alright. Before that, let's turn off all our lights. Turn off OmniLight and go to target spot, turn it off as well. Alright, turn off. Alright. Okay, now I'm going to create a self-illuminated object, or an object that glows. So to do that, I need to create something. Go to create panel and let's create a teapot. Alright. Okay, that's fine. Right click. Okay, now I want to make this teapot here illuminates, and to do that, bring up your material editor, press M, and we have this fresh set of materials. Okay, we're going to choose the first set of sphere. Okay, to start off, you don't need to change standard to Arc and Design as usual. You don't need to do that. We just need to go straight away into Ceph Illumination section here, which is underneath Bleen Basic Parameters, and we're just going to turn it on, and by default the color is black. So let's change it to white or a bit yellowish. That's fine. Okay, let's assign this material to the teapot. You see now the teapot is glowing. So if I render, I will find that the teapot is actually illuminating the surrounding. So it has become the light source. So we can use this method to create a TV screen. Say, let's create a box. Alright, create a box, and let's assume that this is a TV screen. Bring up your material editor, and instead of applying a blank white screen, we're gonna make a picture that glows as if the TV is showing a program or something. So let's choose a new sphere and go to Ceph Illumination, activate it, and instead of choosing color, select the box next to it. Alright, and choose bitmap because we're going to use a picture. So like how we do material, it's the same method. We can just use bitmap. Click OK, and let's find an image. Alright, I have it here in my folder. Okay, I'm going to choose this picture here. Alright, and let's go to parent. Forget about this menu. Go to parent and apply this material to the screen. Alright, so if I render, I will get the TV screen. So that's how you create a TV screen. Or maybe sometimes you want to design a billboard or signage. You can use this method as well. So let's close it. Basically, I've covered everything about basic lightings, and I'm going to add another chapter, which is volume light. It is a special effect, usually being favored by architecture students. Okay, so let's create volume light. So for volume light, I'm going to use another file which has lesser openings, and that way we can see the effects clearer. So I'm going to open that file. Okay, this is the file. So I'm going to create an object, say a teapot, somewhere in the middle of the room. Alright, now we're ready to go. So volume light works with shadow map, so hence a daylight system cannot create a volume light effect. So in this case we have to use other type of light sources like target direct or target spot, or maybe what was the other one again? The OmniLight maybe. So in this case we're going to use target direct because this is the one that we have not experimented with yet. So select target direct and create the light somewhere outside the room. Let's assume that this light is our sun. Okay, so it's coming through the window. So right click to get it done, select on the light source and go to modify tab. You see now the light area is relatively slow. It's only affecting a portion of the room, so we need to enlarge the diameter of this light, and to do that select the target source and go to modify tab and just turn on the shadows and inside directional parameters. Alright, go to there and increase the hotspot and beam until it covers the whole building or room, and our fall off doesn't really matter because we're not going to see it anyway. We're rendering the inside of the room. So yeah, let's give it a try. Let's render it, but I need to check whether my mental ray setting is up. Everything's up. Okay, render. Okay, you see that the light is penetrating into the room through the windows, and the middle lighting is actually being laid on the teapot, so that's why we can't see it. Alright, so it doesn't matter. That's not what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve an effect, a special effect called volume light. So how do we do that? Since we have our lighting in our scene already, just press 8 to bring up our environmental and effects window. Alright, and here we have atmosphere effects section. Alright, so we need to add a volume light effect. Click add, click volume light. So now we have a volume light effect in our scene, and since we added volume light effect, we have a new menu here, which is a volume light parameters. So first of all, we need to identify the lighting that's giving the volume light effect. So press pick light and then find your target direct or the source of the light and click on it. So now you see the name of our sunlight just now was direct 01, so it's already enlisted here, and basically that's it. So if I render, I'm going to have the volume light effect. I'm just going to skip this part. It's going to take some time. So this is the result of the volume light effect. As you can see now, it's obvious. It's really clear, the ray of sunlight coming in, isn't it? So let's try to, maybe this is a bit too much. Maybe we can reduce the sun ray effect or volume light effect. So to do that, just press F8 if you happen to close it. F8. I'm sorry, not F8 but 8, just 8. Alright, click on that and click on volume light so that we have the volume light parameters available. Okay, so this is the one that's affecting the density of the ray. So right now it's 5, so if we reduce it to 2 and enter, we're gonna have a lesser density of the ray. So if I render again, this is the result. So as you can see, the density of the ray is reduced compared to the previous one. So that's how you create a volume light effect. There's another one I want to cover, which is the background. You see now the background is pretty empty outside. So how do I create a background? Alright, so it's the same as the menu just now. Press 8 on your keyboard, and this is our current background. It's black. So if you change it to white, it's going to be white, but now I want to teach you how to insert a JPEG or a picture to become the background. So go to environment map here, click on none, and go to bitmap. As usual, whenever you want to choose a JPEG or any picture format, just go to bitmap and let's find an image. So I have it here in this folder, and this one maybe sky. Yeah, so let's say I want to choose this image to become my background. So I click open, and it will automatically use map, as you can see. So, and the name of the file, sky.jpg. So now if I render, I'm going to have a background as my skylight. Alright, if I render, I'm going to skip this part again. It's going to take some time. So this is the result. As you can see, there's a hint of skylight behind the windows, but you can't really see much here. So let's zoom in a bit, or maybe we can just render from the outside. Okay, so let's turn this to perspective. Alright, let's go outside the building, and let's render somewhere here, looking up. Let's create a ground for that. So I'm going to use plane to create the ground inside the standard primitive. Use plane. I'm going to zoom out a bit so I can cover a larger area. So okay, and I'm going to change the color of my ground to maybe white. Alright, so you see now my view is a bit distorted because it follows the stock lenses of a camera. So let's change the camera stock lenses. Let's make it 35 or something. 35 is a normal stock lens. So let's change it back to camera and change it to perspective. So remember, whenever you use a camera and you go to perspective, it will use the stock lenses that has been used in your camera view. So okay, this is fine. Let's make a worm eye view so that we can have a view of the building and also the skylight at the back. So I'm going to render this. Render it. You see, you can see the effect of the volume light from the target direct as our sun. Alright, the reason we didn't use daylight system because daylight system cannot create the volume light effect. So it's up to you. You can always use daylight system if you don't want to achieve the volume lighting effect. And yeah, we have our background, which is the picture we used just now. So that's how you change your background. And I believe that is all. Thank you very much, guys. I hope all my 10 videos will be useful to you for now and in the future. Please always practice. Alright? Thank you very much. This is War, and have a nice day. Goodbye.